Hello once again, it is Tapinator. I'm here again with the Lightning Thief, and I will begin where we left off. This time I have some tea, since my voice was getting a little rough at the end, since I'm not used to reading out loud for so long. Alright, let us begin. Once again, The Lightning Thief, written by Riordan, not by me, avoiding any copyright stuff there. Alright, here we go. Behind me, Nancy Boba Fett mumbled to a friend. Like we're going to need this in real life. Like it's gonna say on our job application. Please explain why Kronos ate his kids. And why, Mr. Jackson, Bruner said. To paraphrase Miss Boba Fett's excellent question, doesn't matter that in real life? Busted, Grover muttered. Shut up, Nancy hissed, her face even brighter than her red hair. At least Nancy got packed too. Mr. Brunner was the only one who ever caught her saying anything wrong. He had radar ears. I thought about his question and suggested, I don't know, sir. I see. Mr. Brunner looked disappointed. Well, half credit, Mr. Jackson. Zeus did in fact feed Kronos a mixture of mustard wine, which made him disgorge his other 5 children, who, of course, being immortal gods, had been living and growing up completely undigested in the Titan's stomach. The gods defeated their father, sliced him to pieces with his own scythe, and scattered his remains in Tartarus, the darkest part of the underworld. On that happy note, let's take time for lunch. Miss Dodds, would you lead us back outside? The class drifted off, the girls holding their stomachs, the guys pushing each other around acting like doofuses. Grover and I were about to follow Mr. Brunner when he said, Mr. Jackson? I knew this was coming. I told Grover to keep going. Then I turned to Mr. Brunner. Sir? Mr. Brunner had this look that wouldn't let you go. Intense brown eyes that could have been thousands of years old and had seen everything. You must learn to answer my question, Mr. Brunner told me. About the Titans? About real life, and how our studies apply to it. Oh? What you learned from me, he said, is vitally important. I expect you to treat it as such. I will accept only the best from you, Percy Jackson. I wanted to get angry. This guy pushed me so hard. I mean, sure, it was kind of cool on Tournament Day, Tournament Day, when he dressed up in a suit of Roman armor and shouted, What ho! And challenged a sword point against chalk to run to the board and name every Greek and Roman person who had ever lived, and their mother, and the god they worshipped. But Mr. Brunner expected me to be as good as everybody else, despite the fact that I had dyslexia and attention deficit disorder, and I had never made above a C- in my life. No, he didn't expect me to be as good. He expected me to be better. And I just couldn't learn all those names and facts, much less spell them correctly. I mumbled something about trying harder, while Mr. Brunner took one long sad look at the steel like he'd been at the girl's funeral. He told me to go outside and eat my lunch. The class gathered on the front steps of the museum, where we could watch the foot traffic along Fifth Avenue. Overhead, a huge storm was brewing, with clouds blacker than I'd seen over the city. I figured it was global warming or something, because the weather all across New York State had been weird since Christmas. We had had massive snowstorms, flooding, wildfires from lightning strikes. I wouldn't have been surprised if this was a hurricane blowing in. Nobody else seemed to notice. Some of the guys were pelting pigeons with Lunchable crackers. Nancy Boba Fett was trying to pickpocket something from a lady's purse, and, of course, Miss Dodds wasn't seeing a thing. Grover and I sat at the edge of a fountain, away from the others. We thought maybe if we did that, everybody wouldn't know that we were from that school. The school for loser freaks who couldn't make it elsewhere. Detention? Grover asked. Nah, I said. Not for Mr. Brunner. I just wish he'd lay off me sometimes. I mean, I'm not a genius. Grover didn't say anything for a while. And then, when I thought he was going to give me some deep physiological comment to make me feel better, he said, "Can I have your apple?" I didn't have much of an appetite, so I let him take it. I watched the stream of cabs going down Fifth Avenue and thought about my mother's apartment, only a little ways uptown from where we sat. I hadn't seen her since Christmas. I wanted so bad to jump in a taxi and head home. She'd hug me and be glad to see me, but she'd be disappointed too. She'd send me right back to Yancey, remind me that I had to try harder, even if this was my sixth school in 6 years, and I was probably going to be kicked out again. I wouldn't be able to stand that sad look she'd give me. Mr. Buhner parked his wheelchair at the base of the handicap ramp. He ate celery while he read his paperback novel. A red umbrella stuck up from the back of his chair, making it look like a motorized cafe table. I was about to unwrap my sandwich when Nancy Boba Fett appeared in front of me with her ugly friends. I guess she hadn't gotten tired of stealing from the tourist. No, I guess she'd gotten tired from stealing from the tourists and dumped her half-eaten lunch in Grover's lap. "Oops," she grinned at me with her crooked teeth. Her freckles were orange, as if somebody had spray-painted her face with liquid Cheetos. I tried to stay cool. The school counselor had told me a million times, "Count to 10, get control of your temper." But I was so mad my mind went blank. A wave roared in my ears. I don't remember touching her, but the next thing I knew, Nancy was sitting on her butt in the fountain, screaming, "Percy pushed me!" Miss Dodge materialized next to us. Some of the kids were whispering, "Did you see the water? Like, it grabbed her." I didn't know what they were talking about. All I knew was I was in trouble again. As soon as Miss Dodds was sure poor little Nancy was okay, promising to get her a new shirt at the museum gift shop, etc., etc., Miss Dodds turns on me. There is a triumphant fire in her eyes, as if I'd done something she'd been waiting for all semester. "Now, honey." "I know," I grumbled. "A month erasing workbooks." "That wasn't the right thing to say." "Come with me," Miss Dodds says. "Wait," Grover yelped. "It was me. I pushed her." I stared at him, stunned. I couldn't believe he was trying to cover for me. Miss Dodds scared Grover to death. She glared at him so hard his whiskery chin trembled. "I don't think so, Mr. Underwood," she said. "But you will stay here." Grover looked at me desperately. "It's okay, man," I told him. "Thanks for trying." "Honey," Miss Dodds barked at me. "Now." Nancy Boba Fett smirked. I gave her my deluxe "I'll kill you later" stare when I turned my face to Miss Dodds. But she wasn't there. She was standing at the museum entrance, way at the top of the steps, gesturing impatiently at me to come on. How did she get there so fast? I have moments like that a lot, when my brain falls asleep or something, and the next thing I know I've missed something, and it's as if a puzzle piece has fallen out of the universe and left me staring at the blank piece behind it. The school counselor told me that was part of my ADHD, my brain misinterpreting things. I wasn't so sure. I went after Miss Dodds, halfway up the steps. I glanced back at Grover. He was looking pale, cutting his eyes between me and Mr. Buhner, like he wanted Mr. Buhner to notice what was going on. But Mr. Buhner was absorbed in his novel. I looked back up. Miss Dodds had disappeared again. She was now inside the building, at the end of the entrance hall. Alright, everyone. It's 9 minutes, and since I don't want to run this over 10 minutes, or else I will not be able to upload it, I'm going to end it off here, and I'll see you next time in part 3 of the exciting Percy Jackson series. We're not even done with chapter 1. See you then. Bye.